Hello everyone, we have a new set coming up, like later this month, or not this month, next month. So we got some new cards coming, and we kind of have a little more data on the meta and stuff. And yeah, so I've been looking at some of the new cards and just like tinkering around with stuff. So I'm just making a quick video to share some of the interesting stuff I've come up with, or just like stuff that I've been testing around or thinking about. First up, as you can see, I have Solo Seer here. Solo Seer was kind of an idea going around when Adalbert existed and like all of Moonglow's stuff like first came out, because Adalbert has solo mode on the search for a card and put it face down. So there's this idea of like just play Seer by itself and just play Adalbert and like Moonglow's other support, and you can play like Outdoor Hall, which can also grab stuff from grave face down. But it's like only really good if you have the solo mode as well. So all this stuff, and then we also get Corrupted Courtesans, however you say that, courtesans, coming out, which is a unchaseable destroy target attacking resonator, gain 1,000 life, which is also locked behind solo mode, but that's like crazy for Seer. Like you're just playing Seer, you just have all this removal stuff, and then you have Moonglow's stuff with Adalbert, which can get you RBM, and then RBM is just crazy. Courtesans is also a mask out, and then RBM is also a mask out, and it's untouchable, so like once you get this face down and like play the activate ability, they can't even like lorite it or anything, so it's just going to resolve. Like the only thing they can do to stop it is Shaman or Muse Spirit, but like even against just like any other decks, like RBM just goes crazy. Playing Saplings, of course, and a couple Saplings in the main, because that pays for Courtesans, pays for GSTs, pays for Inquisitor, which gives them tokens, so we have stuff to pop, so lots of cool stuff there. And then we have 6 Water Stones, so Prison is like usually live. I think it's a 86% chance like on turn 2 that you'll have a Water Stone. And then we have a Apollo Sphere, and then a second one in the main, which is good for getting Thunder of Zeus. Something that you can do with Adalbert, so like you Adalbert end of the opponent's turn, like flash it in, grab Kaguya face down, and then go to your turn, recover, swing with Adalbert, and then if they don't block, like in response to no blocks, Kaguya activate on enter. You can target your Adalbert, discard a card, and then grab Apollo Sphere from the deck or from the EX deck. So then that Apollo Sphere bumps him by +4, so then he's doing 8 with multi-strike, so he does 16 total. And then that sets up Apollo Sphere, so you've done 16 plus Thunder of Zeus is 36 if you have a Thunder of Zeus to play off of it. So that like by itself does 36, which is most of their life. So that's pretty cool. And then at the end of turn, Kaguya goes back face down, and you can use her to grab another thing later. So yeah, the deck is pretty strong. Another thing that I found that I've been trying out is Nyarla, order Nyarla with IU. So the like main combo that like I came up with that I tried building a deck around was if you order IU on her order, she produces 2 light, and then you can use that to play one of these tanks, Cruiser Tank. And then IU also says light regalias you control gain tap, produce a will of any attribute, so Cruiser Tank can now produce will. And then Cruiser Tank also says Resonance Light Magic Stone, recover this card. So you can float a will, call stone, as long as you don't hit Emerald Tablet, so like 80% chance of like 80% of your stones, recover it, and then you can tap it, float another will if you want to play a deployment tank or to play a Tea Party members, and then recover it again. And then you can just immediately like go in and swing with IU since you have swiftness, which is why Gleipnir is in here, because then you just Gleipnir, swing, get a draw, and then you're just getting a free draw every turn, because this is going to have flying as well. And then if you get enough regalias, you can give it the plus 4k technically, but that doesn't come up too often. But yeah, the other cool thing about this is with the Cruiser Tank. Cruiser Tank is just really good. You can, if you mobilize it, you can swing it into stuff because it has precision, or you can just swing at the opponent. Whenever it attacks, you remove everything with Eternal Barrier and get a 4/4 token. Even if you don't remove anything, you still get the token. So you're always getting a 4/4 token when it swings. And then you can call stone, recover it, swing again. So it's just hitting for 9 twice. And then if you play a Tea Party members, you can recover it, swing again, because it's still considered a regalia. So you can potentially get like 3, if you have another Tea Party members, up to like 4 swings with it. And then we of course have therapists, since we don't care about races at all. We got explosive withdrawal is always just like a nice random finisher. Falchion, also a nice random finisher for Nyarla. You just pitch your whole hand, pump him up and swing. And then we just have like all this generic interaction stuff. But yeah, the regalia like package of like these light regalias is very like will efficient, because you're always like Regalia Beast is a mana dork. If Regalia Beast goes to grave and you play like you can play a 0-cost Gleipnir, get it back for free. It's discounting Tea Party members, which recovers stuff that can then also produce will. Like all your stuff is like either producing will or like refunding you, and then it's all like drawing cards or adding themselves back like when they die or whatever. Pretty cool stuff. Oboro is also just like generically good, especially if you order her, because then you can stat neg the opponent's whole board. And she'll also get swiftness, so you can like, if you have a bunch of stuff in grave and RFG already, get her really big. That's pretty much the idea. There's maybe some tweaks that could be done. I think I would like to have Dark Alices if I could fit them in somehow, just to like make it a little more consistent, and you could like draw and pitch Regalia Beasts and then get them back and stuff. But other than that, it's pretty good. And then another idea that I've been kind of tinkering with is this Goliath with the new Hanada stuff. Since Goliath, you can start with the Skyscraper, which lets you pay 1 void less for Hanada spells, which discounts a lot of stuff now. Discounts Train is like the biggest one, and then there's also the new robot. Train is like the biggest thing, and that's why it's a toolbox. That's why I'm playing all these one of like green resonators, is because you just grab whatever you need from the train. And then Train itself is also a disruption after you play it, so it's like 1-cost search 2 and then turns itself into a 1-cost cancel. And then off of it you can search stuff like Persephone and Garyon. Since the extension rule, it taxes stuff with quick cast, so stuff like Lorite, which we're also playing anyways, but stuff like Lorite from the opponent is going to cost 2 extra, but stuff like Persephone and Garyon that are activate abilities from hand doesn't get taxed, because you're not playing something with quick cast, you're just using an activate ability. And then you can also just grab stuff like Wu, who also gets discounted and is a board wipe. And then also the little robot, I didn't really talk about the robot, but this can tap to add back anything with Goliaths. You can just keep recycling back Goliath's commands, which is really good this format. There's so many good 2-drops right now. So this getting back Goliath's command really good, and then you can also just add back the Train if Train dies. And then Train is also a win con after you get to 2 counters, and then Goliath's command puts a 3rd counter on it. You can pay 0, mobilize it, and then yeah. Another thing to note is the Train is a regalia. It's a Hanada regalia, so you don't have to play the Control Watch at all. Control Watch is kind of a bad card. You can Judgment without needing to play Control Watch. And then we also got some new stuff for Utsune's, who her support felt a little bit all over the place to me, but now we have this card, the Renanthropos Utsune's, the Forgotten. And then along with this we have a new addition. Where is it? This one, the Forgotten Forest of Fossils. So this one on enter mills the top 3 and then cheats in Forgotten Forest of Fossils from hand or grave. So you can cheat in the forest. And then what the forest does is, 1, it searches for anything with remnant or time in its attribute cost, but it also makes your judgment really good, because it gives your J-Ruler side all the abilities of everything expelled, of anything with the time will symbol expelled, which is either the skeleton giant one, the spider, and then any of the like beast ones, the 2-cost ones. The biggest thing is the spider one. If you can get spider expelled and then judgment, she turns off all the like every other Resonator's abilities, gets Bane, has Untouchable Pierce Barrier 2 costs, and then also the skeleton removes all other Resonators from the game, so, and makes it so it can't be targeted or removed from game. So she'll be protected, and then also she gives herself Eternal, so you'll have Eternal, Pseudo Barrier, and Actual Barrier. You'll have two flavors of Barrier. And then this one destroys an addition as well, so you can do that if you want. So if you get to her Judgment while you have this on field and have the spider removed, it's pretty strong. She just becomes really hard to out, becomes a floodgate and wipes the board. But other than that, the reason why we're playing it with Moonless Knight is because we already want to get stuff expelled, so we can play stuff like Shatalkin, which is going to be expelling stuff anyways, and then we can do stuff like Einsatz. We can do it like end of the opponent's turn, Einsatz, start of our turn before draw Einsatz, and then when you play it from grave, Utsune draws a card. So it's kind of like 4 copies of Upstart Goblin, and then it's a chant removed, so then you can expel it off Moonless Knight. And it also sets up our draws, so we can see like what's on top to grab, and it also sets up the bottom of our deck, because when you foresee, you can put them on bottom, and then you can choose like with what you put on bottom what to expel off Shatalkins and stuff, which is pretty good. And then there's also a one of Ice Shards in here, which you can just God's Art to make you expel your own Graven removed area, but it's also just good against a lot of other like grave decks and stuff. And then this Utsune's also is a floodgate, just takes away keywords, so gets rid of stuff like Eternal Barrier, yeah, or like the big ones. Also takes away Multi-Strike, which is pretty relevant now. Takes away Swiftness, stuff like that. And then we just have a variety of chants and stuff, including Claimed by the Depths, which expels the bottom 3, which is good, and is a mask out. And then we have the various Forgotten Discovery chants, which do the things they do. Prisia, because Big Show is a chant, so it counts, and why not? If you get to Prisia for 8, you can grab the spider. We got Planting Beans, so you can just like Planting Beans, dump an Einsatz, and then on the opponent's turn, Einsatz from grave, draw a card, or like you can Planting Beans, dump like a spider, bring it back if you want. We got Neorag in here too, because we got giants in the side. I haven't actually like tested it all that much, other than just like some test hands, so I need to test it in an actual game. But for this it seems cool, seems fun, seems really fun. And then another deck that I actually did test, I actually had bug tested this. It's not very good, I'll tell you that much. This is not a very good deck, but Gandinia did get a new addition, the Hidden Path from Aradia, which lets you grab 2 things, a Residence card and a 1-cost Dark Human. So you can grab ninjas, is like the main, you can tell from the title of the deck, it's Ninja Burn. Ninjas, you can sack it off to burn something, to burn someone for equal to its attack. So we're playing Research Institute is like the biggest one. We're maxing out on Institute, and then we also have Burning Flames in case we want to pump it up before burning. So the way Hidden Path would work is you can do the sack effect, the last effect, to sack it off, do 100 damage to everything, and then you can replay it from grave, so you can just play it, sack it off, play it, sack it off. So however much Darkness Will you have is how many ninjas you can grab. And then thanks to Gandinia being able to shuffle back 3 Restraints of Empathy and then draw a card, and ninjas counts as Restraints of Empathy, you can just kind of infinitely do it, you're never going to run out. And then with the buff from Institute, then they just hit for a lot. And then the stones are kind of all over the place, because we want all Darkness stones for Obsidian Skull, but we also want different names because of Institute. So it's kind of just like every Darkness stone of different names, which doesn't matter too much if you can resolve Hidden Path, because then you just grab the House of the Old Man, and then your stones can produce anything. So the stones don't matter too much. It's mostly just have different named Darkness stones. The deck is kind of funny. you keep a ninja around for a turn with Burning Flame. You can swing with it. Response to no blocks, like Burning Flame buff it, or even if they block, this gives First Strike Pierce, and they already have Bane, so like it's pretty much guaranteed to like hit through and get a little bit of damage in, or at least kill whatever's blocking. And then you can sack it off to do another 1,000, so it'll be that can be like 2,000 damage in one swing. So like that's pretty good. You're usually like trying to play Hidden Path turn 1, so then turn 2, if that ninja is still around, swing with it, Burning Flame, do a ton of damage. Or you can Research Institute, and then with the stone you get off Research Institute, Burning Flame. So there's the potential for a lot of damage output. The biggest thing, like the biggest problem that I've noticed is Hidden Path is food for mirror. Like getting Hidden Path mirrored is really bad, and there's not like a ton that you can do to play around that, so it's a bit fragile. It's a bit like one trick kind of a deck. It's funny. It's funny. It's a meme deck. And then I've also been looking into Soul Merc and Soul Mars, but mostly Soul Merc here just because of the getting to play all water cards is nice with last movement. And then we also have Anti-Magic Elixir is a new tool that they get. Both like versions of the Luminaries get access to this. But like Rising from the Depths is a card that I kind of forgot exists until I got hosed by it at the GP. Like when it's awakened, you bounce everything and then cheat in up to 3 water resonators. So you can grab like Captain Hook, grab Rayaznable, could grab Spirit technically, or either of your Pluto or Neptune is pretty strong. And you can play this literally off coin if you Judgment, like you just Judgment either Soul or Merc, doesn't matter, just depending on which one you have. Get the 10 counters and then play this awakened for 10, and then yeah, it plays around Muse Spirit and Shaman because it bounces first, so you can't like Muse Spirit or Shaman it. You're paying the full cost for it, so it's not like you can just like mirror it or like Gary on it. The best thing you can do is like Persephone or like any hard cancel. You could Rig Veda it technically, which would kind of suck, but there's not like a ton of stuff that stops it in this format, so that's kind of funny. You can Captain Hook them on one. You would probably wait until they have 2 stones, but so that's kind of a neat idea. And then like Hellfire kind of takes the place of Light Lightning. It's just not untouchable. And then you can also, you have World Flame Summoning is also Stone Destruction, which is kind of funny. But yeah, the deck gets to play a lot of removal. Last movement is just a really efficient mask out as well, because either of the resonators that you can remove, you can just play from removed area, which is pretty solid. And then you just side it out against like Gil Geodo or something. And then other than that, it's just doing the usual like Pluto into Neptune into getting a ton of mana counters kind of things. And then you always have Steam Explosion to finish it off if you want. Yeah, standard Luminary stuff. I just thought the Rising from the Depths into Captain Hook was neat. So that's what I've been cooking with. If you want to take over any of these ideas, feel free and grab whatever ideas you want from this and just do whatever you want with it. I have more ideas than I have time to test, so I'm like fully okay with just putting any of these ideas out here for anybody else to try or to like innovate with, I guess. I think the Solo Seer, the Nyarla light stuff, and I think Soul Merc heavy on the blue stuff all have like some potential meta wise, but I don't know yet until we see more of the new cards. Goliath as well, honestly. Not super sure about Utsune, so I haven't tested it much yet, and Gandenia Ninja Burn is a meme, but I think some of these definitely have some potential. I think Nyarla has some real potential there. But with all that being said, thank you for watching, and I hope you all have a great day. See you in the next one.